What were you guys seeing offensively there that allowed you to frankly do that for that long of a stretch?
No, just trying to make quick decisions. Sorry. Just trying to make quick decisions, just move without the basketball. And, where we have, whatever play we have, just make a quick decision out of it. Just move the ball and just trying to find the guys rolling or to kick out threes.
I know you guys go into every game anticipating being ready to play. But what did it say, I guess, that Mike wanted you guys out there to play this game front to back and kind of keep things going into the playoffs here?
That's what we're about. It's competing. Not worrying about too many other things. Not worried about the future. Worried about ourselves now, finding ways to get better. But most important is just being out there to compete. That's what we love to do, and that's what we want to do.
Eric, name?
Yes, it feels like throughout the season there's been some very high highs and there's been some low lows. Do you find yourself focusing more on one of those things? Is it, hey, when we have a bad game, we focus on that and how to improve, or when we have a good game, we try to capture that again? How do you kind of try to go through the season?
No, it's just, there's going to be so many highs and lows, like a roller coaster during the season. You just try to maintain, keep it even-headed, keep it level-headed, stay even. Don't get too high with the highs, don't get too low with the lows. Otherwise, you'll drive yourself crazy. So you just try to maintain that as best you can, just stay the course throughout the season.
What have you thought of your team's kind of ability to step up against teams that, either you've played in the past or at the top of the Eastern Conference? It feels like when you guys have had those big games or those teams that, might be in the playoffs, you guys have played well. You've been able to step up in those moments.
It's just all about competing. Doesn't matter who it is, if they beat us in the past, if we beat them in the past. We know at this point, everybody's trying to play their best basketball, so each night we have to bring it.
For you guys, finding Brook in the post, it feels like he's really he didn't take a three tonight, which is kind of weird for Brook over the years. Just what have you seen from him being willing to dominate down low?
Just trying to show his force, which we love to see. He's such a skilled player, a talented player. You see he's hitting these tough mid-range one-leggers, but he can also shoot from three. He can also take his man from the three to the post or to the rim. But he's a dangerous guy. He's a big guy when he's down there in the front of the rim. It's hard to stop him.
Steve McGargy?
Winning this game tonight kept you alive for the 2 seed. You'll need some help. How much does that matter to you? Is it important to you to get a seed higher if you can, or does it make any difference?
We went out and Brooklyn loses. Of course, we'd be happy to be the 2 seed, but it really doesn't come down to one game. We look down through our season. There's a couple games that we passed, that we dropped, that we should have had. So at the same time, it's not, still fighting for, or I shouldn't say fighting for or whatever, but having the 2 seed or having the 3 seed, if we have the 3 seed, it's not the end of the world. If we have the 2 seed, it'd be great. But I think either way, we'll be happy. Knowing that this season we gave our best, we had some chances to be the number 1, 2, or 2 seed, but we just couldn't hold it. That doesn't mean we're going to win a championship. We just got to play our best basketball, continue to focus on us and who lies ahead.
Dora?
Chris, what do you think allowed you all to maintain the lead tonight? I know there's sometimes, you get up and a team, kind of creeps back. I don't think they got under 10. So how are you able to do that?
Just keeping the right intent. I think we came out a little slow in the third quarter, but after that we found a way to get back the way we were playing basketball in the first half. Just playing with pace, with force. I think fouls got to us a little bit, being frustrated. But we were able to contain our composure, play through it all, get stops when we needed to, and continue to just play basketball the right way on the other side.
Everybody was wearing WNBA shirts tonight, and the league started its 25th season yesterday. Do you watch the WNBA? And if so, what excites you about the season ahead?
I watched a little bit of it. I won't say I'm a huge fan of it. Not because I just don't like it, just because I never get a chance to really watch it. But there are chances I get to watch bits and pieces of the games. And they're great. I saw the game winner the other night. I don't want to pronounce her name wrong for the Liberty. She's a franchise player, one of the stars of the WNBA. But they still bring that excitement that people say they don't. They're talented players. They're great at what they do. just like we are. So I'm definitely am a fan. I just don't get a chance to watch too many games.
And then lastly, going back to Brooke, Eric was asking you just about the fact that he hasn't been shooting a ton of threes lately. What do you think his presence down low adds to you all offensively? The fact that he's obviously he's always been a consistent threat down there, but just really taking advantage of his size in the lane. Just
more to go to when shots aren't falling. We also have another guy that's hard to stop in the paint, especially when he catches it at the rim. It's a 7-footer. I don't know how much he weighs, but it just adds more weapons to our offensive power.
Lori Nickel.
Hey, Khris, I just wanted to get an idea of how you're holding up. I mean, I know you're a professional, but this has been a challenging season with the schedule and everything. One player even said, this has really all been about business. It's like the most unpure basketball season he's ever had. What have you done to endure this? Have you had to tweak anything towards your normal end of season routine to kind of get through this?
Not much. I mean, just different type of treatments and whatnot. Sometimes knowing when my body needs a break, and sometimes when I need to push my body. But I feel great heading into the playoffs, which is which you build yourself up for during the season, to be healthy with no really nagging injuries. So yeah, I'm ready. I feel great.
You guys started out, I think, 70% through the first quarter, 74% shooting, till very late in the first half. Just what were you guys seeing, and what was working? I mean, to that degree, to be able to do that for half of basketball.
I just think being locked in and being able to make the shots that we were given. I think we did a good job of sharing the ball and getting the open shots. So to that point, we got to knock them in. But I really think we did a good job of being locked in today.
I think it was after the last game, Brooke had said there's so many ways offensively you guys can be dominant. Obviously, 70 points in the first half. We've seen some full games with huge point totals. What now that the regular season's coming to a close, I guess, how do you see this offense? Are there still places to go yet, or have we kind of seen everything that you guys can do?
No, I think we can take it up a notch. I think that kind of starts on the defensive end. We can score in half-court sets, and we can score very, very well in transition. But I think when it comes down to the playoffs, it's going to be defense that kind of gets us over the hump and over the top.
Steve McGarkey.
In case you do end up seeing Miami in the first round of the playoffs, does it help to have this win heading in, or is there any carryover effect whatsoever, particularly with Butler not in there? I didn't know if it is kind of a confidence boost at all to be the team you might be facing in the playoffs this late in the regular season.
I think it's more of just being consistent going into the playoffs, no matter the opponent or who we're playing. It's about being consistent and being in a good groove. So I think at this point in the season, we've done a pretty good job of really just coming out every game and trying to prepare like every game is a playoff game. We had a game there against San Antonio, which, again, sometimes it kind of doesn't go your way, but for the most part, I think we've done a good job of locking in and playing well as a team.
Lori Nickel.
I also wondered how you were holding up. I mean, most players have an internal clock or calendar, and normally you guys would be already playing in the playoffs right now. Everything's different this year. Have you totally adapted, or are there some adjustments that you have to make to contend with the fact that you could be playing to mid-July, potentially?
I think we've adjusted. I feel like it's been weird for a while now. It hasn't just been this season. Last season was also really, really weird. So it's just been about being able to adapt and adjust, and I think we've done a good job of that. But for me, it's the season. So whatever season we're in, and we have one more game left, I'm glad we're almost there to the playoffs. That's something that I'm looking forward to.
Zora.
I know some players, don't look at the standings and really just focus on the team that they're on and whatever the task ahead. So in this case, it would be the Chicago Bulls. And other players are locked into the standings and know all the particulars and what has to happen for, to go up or down. Where do you stand in all of that when it comes to looking at playoff potential matchups and standings and such?
Competing and winning, and at that point, just kind of goes. We fall where we fall where we fall, or wherever we land, whatever the saying is. But I kind of feel like at this point, like I said, it's about being into a groove and being consistent with our team and what we like to do. So no matter if it's Miami or no matter if it's Chicago, we feel like we have something to prove, and we want to go into the playoffs with that confidence.
Eric, name?
To follow up on Zora's question, there were like some people that thought you guys should lose on purpose today. That would mean the Heat would be the 4 or the 5 seed, and then you'd have to play like the Heat at 6. I'm assuming you think that's ridiculous, but I'm gonna ask the question anyways. Feel free to dunk on me for asking a stupid question. But like, are you like thinking about that? Like, oh man, this matchup's tougher or not tougher or whatever it is.
So the question, am I thinking about it?
Yeah, like is that something that like, kind of like goes through?
You see it, but to me, it doesn't matter who we play. We're the 3rd seed or the 2nd seed for a reason. We've consistently done it for the whole year, and we've been preparing for this moment. So it doesn't matter who the competitor is. I'm guessing who's in that bunch. Atlanta is in there, and the Knicks. Tough teams. All 3 are tough teams. So at this point, it doesn't really matter. After our season's over, after tomorrow, we have to lock into the team that we're going to play, get down to the details, and be able to win 4 games. So to me, it doesn't matter who the competitor is.
Khris got the job of Duncan Robinson, and as you know, I like to ask you questions about defense. But you're chasing, right? What do you think of Khris's ability to do that? Like, typically, I think of Khris as a big wing that's going to cover other big wings, and that's maybe a little bit different job. So what do you think of Khris's job on Duncan Robinson?
That's a tough matchup to be able to do that. And to add on to that, you got to score. So for him to be our second leading scorer, shoot the ball very, very well, and then chase this dude around the court, I mean, he just never stops. That's elite in my book. Not many guys can do that. That's a two-way player.
Kane Pittman?
Hey, Jrue, I was just going to follow up on that as well, because it definitely stands out when you see him chasing Duncan Robinson, but then last week he played Brooklyn and he's spending the majority of the night on Kevin Durant. So overall, Khris as a defensive player and the versatility he has playing next to him all season long, what have you seen his ability to be so versatile in different types of matchups?
It's just funny that y'all see it now. Like we have to the second to last game of the season. They don't hide Khris. We don't hide Khris. We put him on whatever his matchup is. Some nights it might not be somebody who's a shooter or scorer like that, and other nights it's somebody like Duncan Robinson or KD. So he's never ran, and he's never been like that in his career. And again, it's just like he's preparing for the playoffs, just like I am, and Giannis and Brook. So I think to be able to whatever is thrown at us, I feel like we have guys who are versatile enough to be able to guard different type of players.